and the 300,000 plus employees of our city government will continue to do their jobs, because this is what we do as New Yorkers. It's an insult to the hardworking people of the city that anyone would say that they won't do their jobs while this case proceeds in the background. They are dedicated public servants, and I have been one of them for many years, and they're going to continue to do their job, moving the city forward every day. It's an unfortunate day, and it's a painful day. But inside of all of that, it's a day where we will finally reveal why for 10 months I have gone through this. And I look forward to defending myself and defending the people of this city as I've done throughout my entire professional career.
That's right.
I want to now turn it over to the person who started me on this journey, Reverend Herbert Daughtry.
Amen. 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 Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You are our mayor, and will be to time come, still will be our mayor to all the supporters. Irrespective of what people say, he's still our mayor. As he has indicated, we started on a journey a long time ago. I encouraged him to join the police department. He did, and you know the rest of the story. So, you know, Mr. Mayor, Eric, it's one more battle we have to fight. Supporters, irrespective of what people say, he's still our mayor. As he has indicated, we started on a journey a long time ago. I encouraged him to join the police department. He did, and you know the rest of the story. So, you know, Mr. Mayor, Eric, it's one more battle we have to fight. That's right. There's one more battle we have to fight. And we're not about to quit. We're not about to give up. We'll be there. We'll be there to the end. God bless you. God be with you. We're going to win this fight.
And two, let me get an umbrella, put it on the device so the water won't get inside there, Robbie. Hold on one moment. Hold on. You know we don't do this calling out stuff at my press conferences. When we finish speaking, we will respond to a few questions. We just want to cover that. Are you good, Robbie? I affectionately call her Mother Dukes, has been a head of the NAACP and just a leader that has mentored me throughout my entire journey. I want to now come call up Mother Hazel Dukes.
Yes. Amen. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Hazel Dukes. I live in Harlem. I'm 90. Would you be quiet? Would you shut up? I'm 92 years of age. Yes. I've known this young man for over 40 years. I come with a heavy heart today. Yes. But my head is not unbowed. All right. He's going to have his day in court. Yes. And we're going to stand by him. Yes, we are. We came this morning to pray for him. Yes. Because prayer changed things. Yes. I am asking all New Yorkers to hear his side. Yes. To let him have a day in court. Let him have his day in court. Amen. And then we can make our decisions. Amen. But we are not here today to criticize the federal government where you might be bashash. That's all you do. That's all you brought here to criticize. Yeah. We are going to be here. Yeah, we're going to be here.
I'm sorry, Mother Duke. Hey, brother, this is a 92-year-old elder. Show us some respect. A 92-year-old elder.
She stands next to you. She stands next to Grandma. as the NAACP, as the 501c3, you should not be standing for a political candidate. Stop that. You're always in favor. You are always in favor of the crowd until they come after you.
We are calling on all New Yorkers to listen carefully, not to the loudmouths, but listen to facts and figures. His lawyers will go and do our work for us, and we will stand with this mayor. Right.
We want to now bring one of our amazing bishops of court now. Bishop.
You're an embarrassment to black people. You're an embarrassment to black people.
We are admonished to be angry and sin not. We can have our anger and we move forward. 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 None of us None of us have ever done anything in our lives that we've asked forgiveness for and it was not granted. We live in a society where if we do something, there is a due process for all of us. There's a process that starts, it has a middle, and it has an end. And none of us has the right to preempt that process. If I have an accident, I have to report it to my insurance, and they fight it out, and then a verdict is announced. We cannot prejudge any situation in fear that we might prejudge it inappropriately. And the same justice that we want for ourselves, we want for our mayor. That's right. If I confess, I know there is a God that says he's faithful and just to forgive me of my sin and to cleanse me from everything that is unrighteous. Until the verdict is announced, we stand. We are not people who have a yellow strip down our back, and neither are we intimidated by loud voices. Whatever the truth is, the truth will prevail.
Good morning, my fellow New Yorkers. Good morning. My fellow New Yorkers, I wanted to let you know Mayor Eric Adams, whom you know for 62 years, who served you in the 80s and 90s when New York was facing the worst time in its history, is the same mayor that's standing right here, is the same mayor that will stand tomorrow, and is the same mayor that will be re-elected. 62 years will not be replaced by 5 indictments that will be fought and will be exonerated. Give him a chance. Give him a chance and hear his side of the story. We know him and we should give him a chance. Thank you and God bless you.
Come on, my girl. One of the real warriors, Jackie Rowe Adams.
Good morning, everybody. I stand here today with my leaders and one of the best mayors ever. Eric Adams is the best mayor ever. He has got things done when people running their mouth and doing nothing. Do something. Do something and then you can say something. Do something. Mayor Adams stood on the steps of City Hall when he wasn't mayor, and I want y'all to hear this. We had families that just lost their kids to violence. The mayor, not you, but the mayor. He wasn't the mayor then. He stood with us on the steps and saved lives and called the question in 2006. At that time, I'm a mother who lost 2 kids to gun violence, and at that time, we should have had stop and frisk. Maybe my kids wouldn't be dead today. If they checked these kids that's 11 years old and 10 and they had stop and frisk, maybe the kids wouldn't be dead today. So I stand with Eric Adams, and I'm going to stand with him, and he ain't going nowhere. You are. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just here to say that Mayor Adams have stood with us, and we're here now as the United Clergy Coalition to say we will stand with him. First of all, everybody deserves due process. Just because an indictment come against you, it does not mean that you are guilty. Let the process go out, like every American citizen have the right to do. If you don't like him, don't vote for him, but he's not resigning, he's not quitting, and we stand behind him and say the community's behind him, and we want him reelected. Go talk to Donald Trump with 34 counts, and you ain't protesting nowhere. That burns me up.
Now he's going to the polls. Now he's going to the polls. That's right.
How are you? Good to see you. Yeah.
This was the very first time you actually read this 57-page indictment. This is the first time you actually saw the allegations against you. And in reference to your statement last night with regard to speaking out about the migrant crisis, exactly who in the federal government, White House, would you say is targeting you for speaking out? We're talking about the Biden administration, or we're talking about Homeland Security? So who are we talking about specifically with regard to that, and the first time you actually read this indictment today?
I think that your second question, I think you need to ask the federal prosecutors who gave the directive in the orders. I don't know, but we should ask them who gave the directive in orders that we're going to take on and create this group of lies. They have the answer to that question. When it comes down to reading it, I peruse through it to get the top lines. The attorneys are going to dig into the crevices of it, but it is clear. Everyone that knows me knows I follow campaign rules and I follow the law. That is how I lived my life, and I don't see coming into the 60s and my age to all of a sudden change what I've done all the time. I follow the law and I follow the campaign rules.
Thank you!
After a couple of weeks, some like 4 or 5 people from your staff have resigned. After today, don't you feel afraid that more people are going to keep resigning and you're going to have some problems dealing with the city?
No. Listen, we I think that people fail to properly realize that we have over 300,000 dedicated employees. Over 300,000. Now, those who decided to transition to do some more things with their lives, many of them told me ahead of time they were going to do that. But we have an amazing, credible team of dedicated New Yorkers, and they're going to continue to do that. I think that's what's going to surprise everyone. 10 months ago, when my phones were removed, like today it was about my phones. Same thing that happened 10 months ago. Today was about my phones. Let's get clear on that. When they removed my phones 10 months ago, People said that all of a sudden the city was going to collapse. It was not going to move forward. Look what has happened over 10 months. Over 10 months, more jobs in the city history. More small businesses open. Decrease in crime. You're seeing over and over again success over and over again. So we're going to continue to prosper. We're going to continue to move forward, and we're looking forward to that in the city. Yes. How are you doing? Yes.
You said that you were demonized, suggesting that you are a victim. Why do you feel that way?
Well, listen, I think that when you do an analysis, and all of you have covered this, it is a felony to release a grand jury communications. That's a felony. So you can't break the law to enforce the law. And when you look at the drip of information, when you look at our cooperation, our attempts to sit down and cooperate, when you look at what has taken place, there's been a narrative of giving the appearance that there was something improper that's done and it was just wrong.
Do you think it's political?
No, well, I think we should ask again, as I stated earlier. We should ask those who are conducting this investigation. We should ask them who gave the directive to carry out what we have witnessed over the last 10 months. Over the last 10 months, you knew information before my attorneys knew information. Over the last 10 months, you reported that there was an indictment before my attorneys knew that there was an indictment. Over the last 10 months, this has happened over and over again, and this is not how our system of justice should operate.
You support law enforcement. You support the feds.
Yes, right, sir. Yes.
Mayor, the indictment has been unsealed. Now we know the federal government is looking into your campaign and supposed influences into your campaign when you decided to be mayor.
Yes.
But you have suggested publicly that now you are a target of the federal government because of sticking with New Yorkers, meaning maybe that you're talking about the migrants. Can you clarify that point, please?
I think I did. I think we should ask the federal investigators and prosecutors who gave the directive to take the actions that we are witnessing right now. I have ran many campaigns. I've been part of many campaigns, and the scrutiny of those campaigns always revealed the same thing. I follow the rules, I follow the law, I do not do anything that's going to participate in illegal campaign activity, and I will not do that. And I've instructed, not only in writing, but in verbal conversation to the team, we do not participate in straw donors, we do not participate in foreign donors. We know what those rules are, and we comply with those rules, and I think that my attorneys are going to reveal that as we move forward.
Mayor, who is your point person dealing with major city businesses? You deal with this. That's number one. And number two, is there any circumstance by which you would resign?
No. Listen, I'm here. I was elected by the people of this city, over 700,000 strong, and this is a city. This is a city that is extremely resilient. This is a city that we have gone through some difficult and hard times, and we're going to continue to move forward as a city. And that's what that's shown. I think the narrative here that's missing, 10 months ago when my phones were removed, we have not gone backwards. We have not stood still. We showed how we operate during difficult times. And when you say who's the point person that's going to deal with business communities, who's going to deal with the business of running the city, the point person is Eric Adams. I'm the mayor of the city of New York. And I have a competent team, of deputy mayors, a competent team of people who are going to continue to lead forward, and we're excited about that. Okay, go ahead, Katie. Yeah.
You say this is a retaliation for speaking out against the migrant crisis, but according to the indictment, it dates back to your 2021 campaign, the name of co-conspirator, who you said you deleted messages from. I mean, the allegations seem to go in line with what we've been reporting for at least a year, almost a year. What do you say to that? I mean, you said you traveled to these countries. Do you deny that you took any kickbacks from these countries? Do you deny that you intervened
intervene on behalf of the Turkish government to try to get these guys to
Yeah, that's elaborate. That's an elaborate question.
denies all the allegations in the 54-page indictment. Have you guys
Listen, my legal team, thank you. My legal team is going to peruse the entire indictment. We got it today. When it was released, the news media received information before we did, as they have been receiving for the last 10 months. It appears as though the goal is to try this case publicly and not in the criminal justice system that's in place. And so we, based on what I read, it's clear that if it's campaign violations, I know I don't violate the campaign.
That's right.
If it's foreign donors, I know I don't take money from foreign donors. And I verbalize that to the team, both in writing and both in communication. And we will continue to do that. And we look forward for the legal team to handle this as I handle the city of New York and continue the success that we've witnessed in the last 2 years and 9 months as the mayor of the city of New York. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It won't happen. It won't happen.
You are listening, or were listening to Mayor Adams talk about being indicted this morning. It looks like it's a 5-count indictment. It looks like it has to do with accepting illegal campaign contributions from foreign sources. He was surrounded by clergy and protesters.
Yeah, I don't think this outdoor press conference turned out the way he planned on it, with so many protesters shouting him down at the beginning and at the end calling for him to resign. One of the things that he did was surround himself by supporters who spoke about Mayor Adams as a person. No one really addressed the document because they hadn't seen it. I mean, it just came out about 45 minutes or so ago, 57-page document, and we've got Arlo Devlin Brown joining us right now to try and help us break down what's in this indictment. By the way, we're also waiting for the U.S. Attorney to step to the podium, which we expect any moment now,
and we'll
to give his version of it. We'll bring it live. But Arlo, real quick, you've looked at all 57 pages here. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, I figured the whole thing out. We're going to have to dig deeper into the indictment. It's a dense document, but here's what's notable to me. It's a very narrow indictment in a sense, but it goes deep. So what I mean by that is there have been all sorts of investigations swirling around the administration, all sorts of allegations of potential corruption in various city departments. This is really about one thing, right? It's about Turkey and alleged benefits provided by Turkey in the form of campaign contributions and travel upgrades and travel to the mayor. But it goes into that at great length, right? It's clear there was a very thorough investigation on this subject. But that's my first takeaway, is it's a pretty specific and narrow set of facts that the mayor is charged with.
The mayor, you heard him. He said he followed the campaign rules. He did not break any laws. He was adamant when he said that just now. Clear.
He certainly was. I mean, and that's what the process is going to show, right? I mean, these are accusations. We're going to hear from the U.S. Attorney soon, who's going to speak to them, and we've heard Mayor Adams deny them, although he also noted that they're just going through the charges themselves.
So it kind of goes back to his days when he was Brooklyn Borough President.
Yeah, the very beginning of it starts in 2014. That's the beginning of the indictment. They say these have gone on for now a decade.
Right, and that's part of it. It's a narrow indictment, but it goes deep. It goes way back in time and alleges that this has been a long-running relationship that he's had with Turkish officials to secure these various kind of benefits.
We are keeping an eye because the man who brought the indictment is about to give a press conference, and as soon as we see that, and we'll learn more about how he claims Mayor Adams benefited from these foreign investors. You know, it goes back to, we talked about it earlier, you know, election reform.
Yeah.
If you took that off the table for all these people running for office, it would be clearer, because there's always been potential that when somebody gives you a donation, you're going to do a favor for them.
That's absolutely right. And in New York, there's particular challenges, right? Because New York has a matching funds program, which means donations that are under a certain amount, they get matched by multiple. I think it's 6 to 1. I'm not sure what the latest is, but what that creates, I mean, there's a lot of good reasons for it, right? Small donors, but what it creates is an incentive. Like, the more people you can get with those small donations, the more matching funds from the city you get.
And they allege that with Turkey.
Yeah, I was going to say, those are part of the accusations, not just with Turkey. You know, some of the accusations in here say big businesses had their employees make smaller donations, which then the mayor's office got to match in funds, and they call that fraud. And so that's in here as well. Damian Williams, the U.S. attorney, is expected to step to the podium in just about a minute or so. As soon as he does, we will take you out there live. But right now, you talked about how deep this is. I mean, so much of it really hinges on campaign donations. Yes, there's the flights and other stuff, but what you see repeatedly are straw donors, which the mayor said he follows the law and doesn't have straw donors. But that's mentioned in here quite a bit.
Yeah, and I should say, by the way, these are not new charges in the sense that the U.S. Attorney's Office is pursuing something novel. They've brought straw donor kind of charges before around matching funds. The comptroller, I'm going to blank on his name, but who's running for mayor a few years, yeah, I think it was the comptroller. No, Lou, was that his name?
I was not here.
John Liu?
Yes. So there have been charges before around matching funds.
Well, we see some activity, but I don't see the U.S. attorney there yet. You know, the bottom line is he so different than anybody else who's running for office and trying to raise money in New York City? And Mayor Adams alluded to that in that press conference. By the way, it was such a New York press conference, right? Protesters, car alarms going off. You can't hear anything. The mayor, you know, basically waiting out the protesters.
Speakers,
Who were those protesters? Because the mayor is fighting within his own party. Here's the U.S. attorney. Let's listen to the indictment and the charges.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for gathering. My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the United States Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today we are announcing campaign finance, bribery, and conspiracy charges against Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City. As the indictment alleges, Mayor Adams engaged in a long-running conspiracy in which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations. As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal, and even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him. We also allege that the mayor sought and accepted well over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits from some of the same foreign actors who arranged many of the illegal campaign contributions. These benefits included free international business class flights and opulent hotel rooms in foreign cities. The mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms so that the public could see who was giving him what. But as we allege, year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark. He told the public he received no gifts, even though he was secretly being showered with them. We allege that Adams accepted these benefits knowing that they were given to him because of his position. And in exchange for some of those improper benefits, he intervened in the New York City Fire Department's inspection process for a building owned and operated by the Turkish government, allowing it to open even though it had not passed the fire inspection. The corruption alleged in the indictment is, as I said, long-running. As we allege in the indictment, Adams' solicitation of illegal campaign contributions began in 2018. After he started raising funds for his 2021 mayoral campaign, he agreed to take contributions offered by multiple Turkish businessmen, several of whom he met in Turkey. Adams knew that these wealthy individuals could not legally donate in a U.S. election. Federal law clearly prohibits foreign donations. That's how we protect our elections from foreign influence. Yet Adams directed his staff to pursue this illegal money to support his campaign for mayor. And as we allege, Adams continued to pursue foreign money in secret well into 2021. And it didn't stop with his first campaign for mayor. As we allege, in 2023, the mayor rekindled these corrupt relationships, seeking more illegal campaign contributions from some of the same foreign sources to support his re-election campaign. Adams also took contributions that broke other laws. As we allege, he sought contributions from businessmen far in excess of what the law allowed. He also allegedly sought contributions from corporations, which are not allowed to contribute at all in New York City elections. Many of those illegal corporate contributions were organized by the same people who organized the illegal foreign contributions. And Adams allegedly disguised them all in the same way by accepting the money through so-called straw donors. A straw donor contributes someone else's money, hiding the money's illegal source, such as a foreign businessman, a corporation, or a wealthy New Yorker who has already contributed the maximum amount allowed. And as we allege, Adams circumvented all of these laws, taking contributions from exactly the sources the law prohibits, all to benefit his mayoral campaigns. Now, Adams also personally benefited from the illegal conduct alleged in the indictment. Adams solicited and accepted over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits for years from wealthy Turkish business people and at least one Turkish government official seeking to gain influence over him. Adams started accepting undisclosed luxury travel benefits at least as early as 2016. He took these benefits nearly every year through 2021. Here are some of the benefits that we uncovered during our investigation. In 2016, Adams flew to India through Turkey and received 2 free round-trip upgrades for business class seats. That's the highest class on Turkey's national airline. Those upgrades were worth more than $12,000, and none of it was publicly disclosed. In 2017, Adams accepted free business class tickets for himself and his travel companions to France, Turkey, and China. And he was put up in the Bentley Suite in the St. Regis Hotel in Istanbul. All of that was worth more than $41,000, and none of it was publicly disclosed. Also in 2017, he flew to China, again, through Turkey, and accepted 2 free business class tickets for himself and a companion. Those were worth more than $16,000, and none of it was publicly disclosed. In 2018, he flew to Hungary through Turkey and accepted free upgrades for business class seats. Those were worth more than $12,000, and none of it was publicly disclosed. In 2019, he flew to Turkey and accepted a free upgrade to business class for his companion and a free stay in a lavish suite at the St. Regis Hotel in Istanbul. That was worth more than $9,000. And again, none of it was publicly disclosed. In 2021, Adams solicited business class tickets to Istanbul, stays at luxury hotels and resorts, yacht tours, and meals. As we allege, he asked to pay a nominal fee for all of this in order to disguise what we allege were, in fact, bribes. He canceled that trip at the very last minute, but the benefits that he solicited were worth more than $21,000. And later in 2021, Adams flew to Ghana, again, through Turkey, and accepted free business class ticket upgrades and other gifts while he was on a layover in Istanbul. Those benefits were worth more than $12,000. And just like all the other benefits I've just run through, none of it was publicly disclosed. Now, I want to be clear. These upgrades and freebies were not part of some frequent flyer or loyalty program available to the general public. As we allege, this was a multi-year scheme to buy favor with a single New York City politician on the rise, Eric Adams. Now, this is a chart with all of the undisclosed travel benefits that we uncovered during the investigation. We just list it all out here. You see the year, 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2021. The destination, India all the way to Ghana. The benefits, the free upgrades or free tickets altogether, the hotel stays, and the value. And if you just sum up all the dollar amounts here, you get to more than $100,000. And of course, as I said before, every single trip that we list here was undisclosed. As we allege in the indictment, in addition to not disclosing these benefits, Adams sometimes created fake paper trails to try to cover up the travel benefits he solicited and received. Let me give you one example. Adams wrote emails to his staff suggesting he paid for his 2017 business class flights on the Turkish airline when, as we allege, he did not. Those flights were worth a lot of money. Just one ticket alone cost more than $10,000. But months after taking the flights, Adams wrote an email to a staff member and told the staff member that he had left cash in her desk drawer and that she should send the money to the Turkish airline to pay for a trip he had already taken. As the indictment makes clear, that's just a clumsy cover-up. Now, just because Adams received benefits for free, that doesn't mean that there weren't strings attached. As we allege, a particular Turkish government official behind many of the benefits Adams sought and accepted gave Adams all these things to gain influence over him. We allege that Adams knew that and took the benefits anyway. We allege that when the Turkish government official needed him, Adams also took corrupt official action in exchange for some of the luxury travel benefits. In 2021, the Turkish government official was trying to open a brand new high-rise building in Manhattan that would house Turkey's consulate. There was significant time pressure because the Turkish official desperately needed the building to be open in time for a visit from Turkey's president. This building was important to the Turkish official, and it was important to Turkey. But the FDNY's fire safety professionals wouldn't let the building open because the building hadn't passed an inspection. And not just that. Some of the people at the FDNY thought the building had so many issues and defects that the building was not safe to occupy. So the Turkish official sent word to Adams that it was, quote, his turn, unquote, to support Turkey. And as we allege, Adams delivered and pressured the fire department to let the building open. The FDNY professionals were convinced that they would lose their jobs if they didn't back down. And so they did. They got out of the way and let the building open. The Turkish official got what he wanted. And as we explained in the indictment, just 4 days after Adams held up his end of the bargain, he went right back to soliciting more travel benefits from the Turkish airline. Now, I want to make 3 things crystal clear. First, the conduct alleged in the indictment, the foreign money, the corporate money, the bribery, the years of concealment, is a grave breach of the public's trust. Public office is a privilege. We allege that Mayor Adams abused that privilege and broke the law. Laws that are designed to ensure that officials like him serve the people, not the highest bidder, not a foreign bidder, and certainly not a foreign power. These are bright red lines, and we allege that the mayor crossed them again and again for years. That is the only reason we are here today. Second, this investigation continues. We continue to dig, and we will hold more people accountable. And I encourage anyone with information to come forward and to do so before it is too late. And third, the Southern District of New York remains committed to rooting out corruption without fear or favor and without regard to partisan politics. We are not focused on the right or the left. We are focused only on right and wrong. That is our duty, and we will fulfill it. Now, today's charges are the product of a tremendous partnership. I want to thank our partners at FBI and the New York City Department of Investigation who have been with us every step of the way. And finally, I want to commend the outstanding career prosecutors from SDNY who are handling this case. Celia Cohen, Andrew Rohrbach, Hagen Scotton, and Derek Wickstrom, and the chiefs of the Public Corruption Unit, Laura Pomerantz and Robert Sobelman. It's now my pleasure to turn the podium over to FBI Assistant Director in Charge, James Dennehy.
Good morning, and thank you for being here today. The indictment of a sitting mayor is not just another headline. It is a stinging reminder that no one is above the law or beyond reproach. And it serves as a sobering moment for all of us who place our trust in elected officials. Today's indictment sends a powerful message to every elected official in this country. Public service is a profound responsibility and should be a noble calling. When that's perverted by greed and dishonesty, it robs us of our trust. It's a pact between leaders and their communities, built on the pillars of trust, accountability, and transparency. When that pact is broken, the consequences ripple far beyond one office or one election cycle. We know not all leaders are corrupt. We know there are countless public servants who wake up every day with the intention of doing right by their constituents. But we cannot ignore the shadow cast by moments like this. When trust is eroded, it takes years, sometimes decades, to rebuild. The weight of today's actions falls not just on the indicted official, but on every other public official who must now work harder to earn the public's confidence in them. It's important to remember accountability isn't just about punishing those with alleged wrongdoings. It's about lifting the communities they've let down. It's about rebuilding, restoring, and reimagining what public servants can and should do. It's up to us to demand more from our leaders, to hold them to the highest standards, and to remind them that the power of public office should never be abused. While some may be disappointed today, let me encourage you not to be defeated. The strength of our communities, our faith in one another, and our collective resilience are far greater than the alleged failings of any one individual. In closing, I'd like to thank the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, and his office, Commissioner Jocelyn Strauber, and the New York City Department of Investigation and her team, as well as my team, the Public Corruption Squad here at FBI New York. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome up Commissioner Jocelyn Strauber from the New York City Department of Investigation.
Thank you, Damian. Good morning. Today, for the first time in New York City's modern history, we announce criminal charges against the sitting mayor of New York City. As our highest elected official, the mayor should set the standard for all of city government and exemplify the integrity, transparency, and dedication to serving the public that all New Yorkers deserve. Instead, the indictment unsealed today alleges that Mayor Adams abused his power and position for nearly a decade as Brooklyn Borough President and as mayor to enrich himself and his mayoral campaigns. As charged, he sought and received illegal campaign contributions, luxury travel, and other personal benefits from foreign nationals, as well as individuals and businesses. He allegedly took steps to conceal those illegal contributions and personal benefits and involved city employees and campaign staff in that concealment. As the indictment explains, this kind of corruption has real costs to the city and to the public. As alleged, the mayor's 2021 campaign falsely certified compliance with campaign finance laws in order to conceal those illegal campaign contributions, and as a result of those false certifications, received over $10 million in public matching funds. The mayor's alleged acceptance and concealment of illegal contributions and personal benefits gave overseas benefactors, wealthy individuals, and businesses undue influence over the mayor, influence that federal and local laws seek to prevent. And as charged, in exchange for certain personal benefits, the mayor pressured the New York City Fire Department to forego a required fire safety inspection before the opening of the new Turkish consulate building. As the city's Inspector General, the Department of Investigation, a city agency, conducts its investigations confidentially and wholly independent of City Hall. We handled this investigation as we would any other, following the facts and seeking to hold wrongdoers accountable no matter their role or title. Our unique access to city records and expertise in matters of city government make us a critical partner in the fight to root out corruption, working closely with our law enforcement colleagues at the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office. If you have information about this case or about illegal conduct by any New York City official or employee, I encourage you to contact DOI by email at at doi.nyc.gov or by phone at 212-825-2828. I want to thank the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York and the FBI for their partnership on this investigation. And I want to recognize and thank the dedicated, hardworking DOI investigators who are handling this matter. Senior Inspector General Eleanor Rivkin, Inspector General Audrey Feldman, Deputy Inspectors General Arturo Sanchez and Trenton Sweeney, and their supervisors, Deputy Commissioners Christopher Ryan and Dominic Zarella. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Can you just say, Mr. Mayor Eric Adams has said he's not going to resign. He said that this is a witch hunt because...
All right, you have heard the Southern District of New York laying out the details of that indictment that was just unsealed against Mayor Eric Adams. Among the things that we are learning, the mayor faces 5 counts, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud, federal program bribery, and to receive campaign contributions by foreign nationals, wire fraud, and then 2 counts of solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national. Joining us now to offer more insight into the mayor's indictment is former chief of the Public Corruption Unit at the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office and current partner at Covington, Arlo Devlin Brown. First off, we have listened to this for the past hour, and you hear Damian Williams speak about this. He summarized it up. Were you shocked to hear him go into detail, or you kind of felt like this is, you knew what was going to happen with this?
So I think prosecutors like to go in detail because during an investigation, they're not allowed to comment at all about what they're finding. And so the narrative is often, why are these people raiding houses or talking to witnesses or all that sort of thing. So they like to put a lot of detail in the indictment because then the only thing they can really say at a press conference is stuff that's in the court documents.
Sure.
So they like to do that.
When you're looking at everything kind of laid out, and obviously having worked in this field and you have seen some very bad corruption, where does this kind of fall in terms of the worst case scenario, or this is not terribly bad? Obviously he's breaking the law with this stuff if it is true, but where does this land for you?
Yeah, so still digesting all of this, and of course he's going to have an opportunity to defend against it. But what I would say is notable here is the indictment is narrow in one sense, right? It's really just about this relationship with people from Turkey and campaign contributions and travel. There have been so many allegations swirling around, right, and broader investigations. So what's interesting to me is it's really just focused on this one thing, which, you know, is not perhaps everything everyone was speculating about, but it goes really deep.
Sure.
It alleges this goes back to the time when he was, you know, Brooklyn borough president.
Yeah, from 2016, we're seeing 2016, France, Turkey, China, 2017, flying to China business class. You're seeing the St. Regis. I'm trying to think, like, if you were stepping back and looking at this, for them to go that far back, what does that signal to you?
Well, I think, you know, when prosecutors get their teeth into something, they tend to do that, right? They have so many tools at their disposal. They can get search warrants for phones, they can subpoena records, they can talk to people, and then, you know, they sort of go out in all directions on that. And so, I mean, it looks like, for whatever the merits, that'll be proven, right?
Sure.
But this is very sort of thoroughly dug into this one issue.
It was really interesting. I think one of the things they brought up was that the mayor was leaving some fake paper trails. I'm seeing here they wrote emails to staff saying that he paid for business class flights when he didn't. So what would that mean to you in terms of having to look at, you know, the mayor's actions and how he's deliberately? Is this like a deliberate trying to cover up of what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, there's that saying, right? It's not the crime, it's the cover-up. And there's definitely a lot of truth in that. Prosecutors, when they're faced with crimes where the person's intent matters or whether they actually knew about it, they love to find evidence that they think shows a jury that, hey, this person knew what was going on. And sometimes the best evidence of that is cover-up type evidence. So if that holds up, that could be damning evidence.
Say you're the mayor, what are the steps you would take now, giving him some kind of legal advice on his legal side? Because there's some things that he said as well that would maybe go against what the narrative that what they're saying. So what would you say to the mayor in terms of his next steps?
Well, I mean, we saw the mayor speak. He's in a fighting mode, and my speculation, it's really just speculation, is he had a plan A before he was indicted, which was to try to work and persuade the U.S. Attorney's Office not to bring these kind of charges. But now that they've done this, and perhaps the way they've done it, he wants to go nuclear. I mean, he wants to fight these charges, and that's what it looks like he's going to do. So what I would tell him if I was his lawyer, which I'm not, is, you know, dig into these with your lawyers. Think about what the best defenses are going to be. There's a lot of opportunities in federal court in white-collar cases like this for defense counsel to file motions. There may have been things done wrong in the investigation or that they think were done wrong, and you keep pulling at those strings as a defense lawyer, and maybe something comes up.
You kind of mentioned that. You said the way that it was done made him go nuclear. Can you expand on that a bit? As where is he picking up some truths that would have noted to him this has been done wrong? As he did say, there was some way, the process, how this drip came out, he was very upset at that. So is that how things actually work when something like this happens?
I would say, you know, as an outsider here, so I don't know who's responsible for the dynamic, but it does seem like there was a very negative dynamic in the investigation, right? Trust is always key, and if the prosecutors thought they couldn't trust the mayor during this process, they may have resorted to techniques that they wouldn't do if there was more of trust, like raiding his house on surprise, seizing phones instead of just asking for records. And that, of course, makes someone who is on the receiving end of that perhaps lose their trust that the process is fair. So it seems like a pretty poisonous dynamic.
All right, well, a lot's still unfolding now. We really appreciate you, Arlo, for joining us and just kind of shed some light. This is 57 pages that you're going through right now, so I know we're not done kind of digesting it all. Don't go anywhere. We're still going to come back and chat with you a bit more about it because, again, digesting this is probably going to take some time.
That's right.
All right, you're watching 12 o'clock news, some breaking news right now. This is at the noon where Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on 5 federal counts. And Lisa Evers is live at Gracie Mansion with more on today's indictment. And Morgan McKay, who is outside Federal Plaza in Lower Manhattan, has the very latest as this. But first, we're going to get to Lisa right now. Lisa, the very latest on this is you were hearing the mayor give his press conference, and you also heard Damian Williams, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, speak as well a bit more about what is in that indictment. What is your takeaway from this right now?
Well, Bianca, it was a very unusual press conference this morning, coming as it did before the U.S. Attorney, Damian Williams, actually even made his public comments and public remarks. But Mayor Adams walked out of Gracie Mansion surrounded by faith leaders, longtime political supporters, and community leaders. And his whole message, his whole demeanor was he was smiling, he seemed very upbeat, and that he was going to fight this, and that this was a step, you know, that he had to deal with, and that he would do what he's always done, which is comply with the law, but that he was innocent of these charges. And there was a big theme, too, because, and very hand-picked advisors next to him, Hazel Dukes, the former president of the NAACP and one of the leaders of the civil rights movement going back to its earliest days. She was on one side of Mayor Adams when he was speaking to the media. On the other side was Reverend Herbert Daughtry, another civil rights veteran who has led a lot of fights with them, who Mayor Adams said they were his mentors, they were his guides. People were in a very prayerful mood. There was some disruption when the Black Lives Matter contingent showed up and they tried to disrupt him. They were shouting. There were car alarms going off on the block. It was very chaotic for a while, but they kept to what they were doing, kept speaking, and the message from everyone was basically let the justice system take its, you know, just take its role and go forward, and time will decide and the truth will come out, because no one seemed nervous, no one seemed upset, they seemed very steadfast, and I think that's the message that he wanted to convey to people. And he said, listen, I'm going to fight these charges, but I'm staying in office. I have a job to do. And then reiterating that theme that we heard last night in his statement, where he was saying that basically this is what happens when you speak out on behalf of the people of New York. And of course there were people coming up. walking by here in this neighborhood on the Upper East Side, very affluent neighborhood. Some people supporting him, saying innocent, shouting innocent until proven guilty. Other people coming by, walking their dogs, and then stopping in to make comments saying that you should leave, you should leave. So it was a very mixed reaction just from people on the streets. But the mayor kept to it. He kept smiling. He didn't seem upset by any of the disruptions, and just said, I'm going to keep doing the job that all the people of New York City elected me to do. So no sign of worry, and a strong sign to his supporters that, listen, we are together. And most importantly, Bianca, I think the visual image of it was of him not being alone in this. This is not him alone. He's surrounded by these leaders, including a Muslim leader, one of the most prominent Muslim leaders in New York City, Sheikh Musa Drama, who's worked with interfaith groups, with the Jewish and Christian organizations and leaders as well. So it was very a show of strength from his side, basically saying, I'm going to deal with this, but it's not going to stop me, and it's not going to stop what I have to do. Bianca?
You're right. It shows strength with all those clergymen behind him. But will that work, and will that change perception? We will have to see. Lisa, thank you so much. We're going to turn things over to Fox 5's Morgan McKay. She was inside the press room when the Southern District laid out the charges against Mayor Adams. She is live outside of Federal Plaza in Lower Manhattan with the very latest on this. Morgan, I want to go back to something that the mayor said about how this process unfolded, speaking about the fact that they didn't know information in a timely manner, saying that also the news media was receiving some of the information before him and his team, and that the feds want this to publicly play out. You heard about this pretty early on, so what are you hearing on the ground there, and how did people react to you when you were saying that this was going to happen?
Well, so one of the things mentioned in the indictment was this Turkish consulate that we have been reporting on for a while now, and how Mayor Eric Adams allegedly had fire officials just pass a safety inspection for this Turkish consulate. And today, the U.S. Attorney Damian Williams says that Adams pressured these fire officials to go ahead and give the green light to this Turkish consulate when it wasn't passing fire inspection safety standards. And in return, he was getting luxury benefits from Turkey and other countries. From Turkey alone, I believe, is around $120,000 in luxury benefits. Now, Damian Williams, he said today, he called it, quote, a grave breach of the public's trust. He said, quote, these are bright red lines, and we allege that the mayor crossed them again and again. They are saying that this corruption, alleged corruption, goes back for nearly a decade, back when Mayor Eric Adams was Brooklyn Borough President. They said he not only received these luxury campaign donations, these luxury perks, he also sought them not only from foreign nationals, but also corporations, which are not allowed to give to New York City races. Now, he also was able to do this by using a straw donor scheme, which means that these corporations would pay, some of these smaller people, maybe just a regular person, to then donate to Adams' campaign, and then the person who donated would get reimbursed. Now, this indictment lays out, again, just a decade of Adams receiving benefits, and what really stood out to me is they're also alleging that Adams sought after these benefits, and they said he received free or discounted travel to France, China, India, Hungary, and Turkey. And he also allegedly received free hotels, dinners, and entertainment. So for one of these, in the indictment, for one of these trips, he told his staffer to look in her desk, and there he left some money to reimburse for this Turkish airline. So again, there's a lot in this indictment. It's about 57 pages, but the SDNY today is just really alleging that Adams had a big role in not only looking and seeking these illegal campaign contributions, but also accepting them.
Morgan, as you have these close ties up to Albany, I know that the governor is aware of what's happening right now. She does have the power to remove Adams from office. Are you hearing anything on that front as to what she might decide or speak out against what's happening right now?
I'm sorry, Bianca, can you repeat that question? You cut out there.
Yeah, the governor, we're talking about Kathy Hochul, who has the power to remove the mayor. Do you know, have you heard of anything about her speaking out more so than the fact that she is aware of what's happening right now?
So Governor Kathy Hochul is in Syracuse right now. There is no plans at this moment for her to return, according to her staffer that I spoke to earlier this morning. I don't know if things have changed now that the indictment was unsealed. The same thing for House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. They said that he would likely have a statement after this is unsealed. So I think there is going to be a lot of questions, once things sort of wrap up here in the afternoon. The other big question, too, is just, what will President Joe Biden do if, we're in a tough election race this year? Will he pressure Hochul to remove Adams? Because that's the only way that he would be able to be forced out, is if Hochul removed him. Now, we do have a soundbite here from the U.S. Attorney Damian Williams. We're going to play that right now.
The conduct alleged in the indictment, the foreign money, the corporate money, the bribery, the years of concealment, is a grave breach of the public's trust. Public office is a privilege. We allege that Mayor Adams abused that privilege and broke the law. Laws that are designed to ensure that officials like him serve the people, not the highest bidder, not a foreign bidder, and certainly not a foreign power. These are bright red lines, and we allege that the mayor crossed them again and again for years. That is the only reason we are here today.
Now, Williams also said that repeatedly Adams would tell the public that he wasn't getting any sort of perks. But again and again, they say that he was receiving them for since 2014 to 2021. Now, we also have a soundbite from Mayor Eric Adams here that we're going to play.
And we are not surprised. We expected this. This is not surprising to us at all. The actions that have unfolded over the last 10 months, the leaks, the commentary, the demonizing, this did not surprise us that we reached this day. And I ask New Yorkers to wait to hear our defense before making any judgments.
Now, Williams also alleges that Adams used his staff in this alleged scheme to receive these illegal campaign contributions. And they told the public right now, and anyone else working in government, that if anyone else knows of anything, to come forward now.
Yeah, they said come forward now before it is too late, in fact. All right, Morgan, thank you so much. We're going to get back to you in just a bit. Right now, we're going to turn things over to someone else because today's indictments has set off a major implications at City Hall. Antoine Lewis is there. So, Antoine, I want to ask you what you're hearing at City Hall as we know that this is so entrenched with city government. This is the mayor. The tentacles reach far, and this has implications for us as New Yorkers.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a sad day. That's the feel out here, if you will, because you have to put this into the perspective, Bianca, that the sitting mayor of the country's largest city has been indicted on 5 counts, including bribery, conspiracy, wire fraud. So a lot of the feel out here is people are stunned. There's a 12:30 news conference media availability with the city council speaker. That is ahead of a already set 1:30 city council meeting. So both of those events are going on right now, which is why we're keeping our eye on that, because as soon as we say goodbye to you, we're then going upstairs to then get more reaction from what we're hearing, anticipating to hear from those that are inside City Hall. But again, that is the feel out here. A number of people have been stopping by who have not heard the news about what's going on. We've been filling in some people. There is a row of journalists here, media operations and outlets here outside of City Hall along Park Road, which is where City Hall is. So the people that are walking by, stopping and going, hey, what's happening? We're filling them in, and everyone's stunned and shocked. And not all of them are New Yorkers. Again, you're talking about the mayor. You're talking about a former borough president. You're talking about a former state senator. You're talking about someone who was an ex-police officer. Now, at his news conference, as Lisa pointed out, Lisa Evers, the mayor denied wrongdoing. These are allegations. He is innocent until proven guilty. He has determined that he is going to fight in his statements last night, and again, he repeated it there. But as Morgan just pointed out, listening to the U.S. Attorney Damian Williams and that whole news conference, which we heard in the car out here, they have started this investigation. It's been going back a decade or so, to the time when the mayor was borough president in Brooklyn. So they would not bring forth these charges, which, again, people don't know, but these have to be looked at the highest level. So we're talking about the Attorney General's office, Merrick Garland in D.C., the Deputy Attorney, the Assistant Attorney General there. They would not allow a case to move forward against a sitting New York City sitting U.S. politician, especially of this magnitude, unless they were sure that they had a case that they feel they could successfully take to trial. And that is what's going on now. So again, 12:30, we're going inside because City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams is having a news conference there. We imagine and anticipate she will be joined by other council members, and then the full body, or the City Council, is set to meet at 1:30, and we'll be inside for that as well. This is the very latest from where we are outside of City Hall. Bianca, we'll send things now back inside to you.
Answer, I want to ask you a question before we let you go. Your thoughts and your takeaway from the mayor's press conference. He was followed by Reverend Daughtry, followed by Hazel Dukes. They said they came to pray for him, let him have his day in court, not here to criticize. With that show of support behind him, do you think that changes public perception of, what the mayor has done, hasn't done? We don't know yet. But do you think that changes things?
I think right now, given the magnitude of the resignations, the searches and things that have been going on since at least within the last couple of weeks, a perception had already started to build in public, in the minds of New Yorkers and even outside of the country. But again, this is the first time that the mayor had been directly named, if you will. A T had been directly pointed towards him, per se. None of that had happened until then. The reaction that we got from those up here seem to be stunned. But again, where we are, we're seeing a lot of people who are not necessarily New Yorkers. And so that's been the feel of it. I do think, the court of public opinion can also sway to the wrong way that the law is set up to design, because, again, a person is innocent until proven guilty. So the court of public opinion can certainly not substantiate that. But again, that's what the judicial system is set up on, and that's how every individual, particularly every American, is supposed to have that. They're supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, B.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. We'll chat with you in a bit. We're going to turn things over to Linda Schmidt now, who is in the newsroom. She's been monitoring the press conference by the Southern District and Mayor Adams. Linda, as you saw, the Southern District did not come empty-handed. 57 pages and an entire presentation. So what's your takeaway from this?
And it's a lengthy indictment, too. I've been trying to read as much as I can while I've been listening to those news conferences, both from the mayor earlier, from Gracie Mansion, as well as the U.S. Attorney's Office from the Southern District. Also involved in the investigation, though, not just the U.S. Attorney's Office, also the FBI and the city's Department of Investigation. In fact, the city DOI saying that the mayor abused his power to enrich himself and his campaigns. They're also saying that the criminal charges stem from a multi-year scheme to buy favor from a rising city politician. That's what foreign nationals did. And also saying that he had crossed this line for years and years, and once again encouraging anybody else that knows anything to come forward before it's too late. Very ominous sounding there. Now, I want to talk about those the charges. Again, it's a 5-count indictment. The mayor facing conspiracy, wire fraud, and bribery charges. And the thing that we learned here today, now they launched this investigation about 10 months ago, so this is nothing new. There's been a steady drip of information and then multiple resignations from the mayor's administration, from top people in his administration. So it's nothing new. What we did learn today, though, is that this case goes all the way back to 2014 when Eric Adams became the Brooklyn Borough president. They're saying even 10 years ago at that particular time that not only did he accept improper valuable benefits, he sought improper valuable benefits. That's especially egregious in this indictment. Now, the mayor at his news conference today, though, saying we're not surprised by this. He said that he is being demonized, and he is also asking New Yorkers to have patience as this process plays out. Now, one big question that a lot of people have on their minds is who's actually running the city right now? Because when you were facing a 5-count federal indictment, many people are saying, how could you be running the largest city in the country, one of the largest cities in the world? And by the way, New York City here, many people may not want to accept this, but we are pretty much the center of the universe. So much comes right out of here that affects not just this state, not just this country, but the entire world. So having a 5-count indictment against you could be a severe distraction. However, the mayor's standing firm today, once again, digging in his heels, and he's saying that my day-to-day is not going to change. I will continue to work for New Yorkers who have elected me to do so. Although this is a painful and unfortunate day, I am not resigning. He is not stepping down. Now, as far as what the governor is doing, so far we have not heard from Governor Hochul. As Morgan was just saying, she's in Syracuse today. Some people were surprised that she didn't actually issue some type of a statement last night after it became apparent and it had been confirmed that he had been indicted in a federal case, that we thought there would be word coming from her. However, in situations like this, many people, especially a governor, waits until the indictment is unsealed before they have a chance to, so they can have a chance to digest everything that's in that indictment and then form a statement or form their opinions or take whatever actions it is that they want to take at that point. So at some point we will be hearing from the governor. Will it be today? Don't know. But she does have the power to remove him from office. Now, the way that it works in New York City, the person who is second in charge right now is the city public advocate. That's Jumaane Williams. He is second in line to succession to the mayor. So if the mayor decides to resign, which he says he is not going to do, or he is removed from office by the governor, then it would be Jumaane Williams who would then replace, excuse me, who would then replace the mayor and serve out his term. You know, we're talking about the $100,000 that the indictment says that the mayor was showered with free and upgraded flights, luxury hotel stays, and this included money coming from the Turkish government with their airline, which, by the way, the Turkish airline is primarily owned by the Turkish government. And the destinations included flights to France, China, Sri Lanka, India, Hungary, and Turkey itself, as Morgan was talking about. And then what really stands out as well in this indictment is that they're alleging that the mayor accepted this money, accepted these favors, knowing that eventually he was going to have to pay them back. And what happened in the indictment, it says that in September of 2021, the Turkish official came to the mayor and said, look, we've done this for you. Now you have to do this for us. You have to help speed up the opening of a Turkish consulate building, a 36-story skyscraper here in the city that would not have passed fire inspection at that time. But we need you to do that because our president of Turkey is coming here to the city, so we need that sped up. And that Adams actually pressured an FDNY official responsible for that to do it. And it got done, and that he was threatened that if he didn't do it, he was going to lose his job. Bianca, back upstairs to you.
All right, a whole lot more to unpack here, Linda. Stay with us, though, as you are watching this. We're going to be back after this break. More on the mayor's federal indictment coming up after this.